of Hubbardston to order.
Did we have a clerk?
No, we did not have a clerk last year. And all we had last year was
A chair.
we had a chair. And since there's no longer a chair, I think we need to make sure that we are nominating a chair. Would you like to go ahead and do the nomination, sir?
Well, why don't we, anybody interested in chair? I am not, I can't.
And I will not be here, as I said, over the next month, so would you be interested in being chair?
I can.
Okay.
I was hoping somebody else would
As were
be
we.
joining us.
As were we.
As are we. So, at least,
We've
at
put it
least,
out there.
okay, at least for now.
Yeah, I've reached out to a couple people too, but
Yeah. So I'd like to is it okay if I nominate you, Chuck? So I nominate Charles Reed as the chair.
I second that nomination.
That being a motion and it's seconded, why don't we just go ahead and take a vote?
Discussion?
Any discussion?
Aye. Murray, aye.
Steiger, aye.
aye.
Okay, so,
Who's taking minutes, by the way?
That's the
Right now
next
I
question.
am.
Oh, okay.
Just because you don't have a clerk, that's all.
Thank you.
Very rough, but
yeah, we've never had a
Um,
clerk before, I think, right?
No,
I don't
No.
remember last year we had a clerk either.
I think when we had 5 members, we might have
How do I cast?
had a clerk.
Mhm.
okay.
Okay, so,
You're in charge, sir.
Mr.
What do you-
Chairman, give me 1 second. Oh, congratulations. Nice.
thank you.
It
It
doesn't
was
seem
a hard
really
won battle.
exciting.
Yes, it was one of the saddest chair
No, go right
acceptances.
there. And hit cast.
Yeah, this will be my earliest night home, and I go home for a
So-
virtual meeting.
No, it's not senior.
It's this.
Well, you had
Yeah,
planning board
that
last
one.
night,
It's not.
right?
Yeah.
I
You
did.
too.
I was here
Yeah.
for
Okay.
Yeah.
planning board, yes.
Well, I
We
didn't
do,
have
my
a
company
problem
does
with
civil
that.
engineering, surveying, and that kind of
It's
stuff,
the
and
Roku TV.
we have,
There you go.
and we review for the Hubbardston Planning Board
Right.
and
I think
all
I
of
did
the
it on
Boxborough planning boards and
HDMI too.
other towns, and we're just buried with work. Boxborough's being killed. They just did a big zoning change, and just prior to the zoning change, all the commercial users in town filed plans to freeze in
HDMI 2 is the computer.
zoning, so. Let's watch Roku.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, it's not allowing me to cast to that option.
You go to computer, will it let you do it? And you don't do it on HDMI too, huh? 'Cause that's
No.
where I was when I did it. That's way up the top.
Yeah. How old is this TV? That the remote's broken.
Maybe we killed the battery.
It's not on a capital plan for replacement.
Good one.
Oh, I saw it on AV, didn't I? Oh no, that's the cameras.
Yeah.
Alright, click that.
That requires you to be hardwired.
Yeah, I wanna see, yeah, because HDMI 2 is what I run the computer on. Well, we will be alright. So, cause everyone has a
Paper.
paper copy of this, and I apologize for the inconvenience ahead of time, but if we wanted to run through a lot of this, I have Sandy with me here this evening, as she was the interim town administrator during the beginning of the capital process. So everyone submitted their requests to her attention. It's been a little bit of a lackluster response this year because we were able to cover a decent amount of capital items with some ARPA funding or CARES or a variety of things that happened over the last couple of years. So you may notice that there was a little bit less than the average year. But if we wanted to begin our conversation on some of these, As I noted in my email to you this afternoon, the number that Sandy and I believe we're working with is about $370,000. I guess we will start, so additional road repair. That is, as you're aware, a line item that through a policy on road repair, we keep going through every year in an attempt to add additional resources to.
I
to chapter
apologize,
9.
you just wanna make sure that I understood you correctly. The budget is 370. What is being considered here is for, 560 has been
Yeah, and we
put
have,
in as asks.
as asks,
Gotcha.
yep,
Okay,
and we
very
have
good.
to get that down to
370.
370.
Or better. Okay,
Alright, so the $100,000 for additional road repair is, in a perfect world, what we would put in per policy. In the last 2 years, please, you guys have been here longer than
Yep.
I, if I say anything that is incorrect, please do not hesitate to correct me. I believe in 2022, it was completely cut down to 0, and in FY '23, they had 50,000.
mm-hmm,
So, then that's that. I'm going strictly with the things that are in FY '24 proposals right now. After that, if we wanna talk about different ways to kind of split or push, we can look at the different options. And if anybody needs a more detailed view of anything, we do have hard copies of all of the requests here today. The DPW garage roof, a request for $100,000 that has been on the capital improvement plan for a number of years now. It's something that Travis did indicate is a high priority to him because it is leaking severely. This would also include getting gutters, and that would make their situation a lot better.
Can I
Now-
just also say that, there is $50,000 that we are supposed to receive from the state. Senator Goby brought in, and it's in the budget, we just have not received the funds yet, but, so that's $50,000, but what Travis is saying is that the garage roof, because the price of things keep escalating, the price of the roof is actually up to $150,000 probably to get that done now.
Does he actually have an estimate?
Not that one, not one that is recent or
Right.
actually super in depth.
Okay. And this first printout that we got, it talks about, was any money awarded last year? I thought this came up,
$50,000 was awarded last year.
and that's still sitting?
Oh, for this, my apologies, no, this was not awarded last year.
Okay,
This was on FY '24 last year.
how certain are we on the 50K?
We're positive,
positive.
we've received,
Okay.
notifications, so we know it's coming.
Okay, but it's the timeline is still in doubt in terms of it.
It'll
if-
be here before June 30th.
Yeah.
That's all we know.
Okay,
And so the 150 needs to cover somebody to design, an architect or an engineer to design this and put it out to bid, or is it just going out as a replacement of existing? Do we know?
I would do the procurement of the project.
Okay.
So we would do it as any other project at $100,000 to $150,000. We would have to do a sealed bid.
No, that I know, but
Yeah.
does it require a consultant design?
I do not believe so.
You're just gonna replace in kind.
Yeah.
so it's actually just demonstrating the project,
Yeah.
come and bid,
Yes.
give us your sealed bids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Up next is a request for a Ford F-450 with a plow for the director. This has been also on the capital plan for at least 1 year now. It would be replacing, what is it, an 01 Ford Explorer?
is it 09? I know it's an old one.
Yeah.
with
It
ex-
used to be a
extra
police
ventilation.
vehicle, from what I understand, yes,
Yes.
lots of extra ventilation.
Oh, yeah, that one.
The
Yeah.
rocker panels are all gone.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the proposal that I read is that he wants to get a crew cab truck.
Yeah.
I was
That's
just
the
wondering
paper I
why
had.
that over just a single cab for, if it's gonna be his vehicle.
Let me open it up.
My understanding, I don't wanna lie. Okay, the Explorer that he had is 14 years old.
We know that it's gone.
It's
Yeah.
Well, we don't even need to
Right,
hash
right,
that.
the fact he's replacing
just
something,
trying
I'm
to
just
see,
was
'cause-
wondering why he's going with the,
And
With
do
the
we have a
bigger
quote
truck.
from the state bid list on it?
That's one. MHQ, which is on the
Okay.
state bid list,
Yep.
did. End price is the 63,144.50 that he
Is
that
asking.
he did ask for.
And a CB radio is the
Yeah.
additional 500 on there. I think he's looking for I know he's looking for a truck with a plow versus, this is not as versatile, shall we say, probably not a good plow vehicle.
yeah, no, and I don't have I can understand why he would want a vehicle he can plow with.
Right.
But I'm just wondering, if I read it correctly, I'm just wondering why he would go with the crew cab versus just a single cab. Like,
Yeah,
because
over here,
there
this
is
is
a
shown as a crew cab with a 6.75 foot
Yeah,
bed.
I'm not sure why. That is
Oh, so
something,
it's a standard bed, he's not getting a dump.
no,
Can't get a dump truck for under 100 these days.
No, but he'd get a sanding insert if he really was pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
Reduce the life of the vehicle by another.
yeah.
Oh, we use that green salt.
Yeah, it still corrodes.
Yeah.
Alright, what's next?
All right.
Main Street repaving.
So that is the fire department, their station on Main Street, the parking lot needs repaving.
That's the minimum it needs.
It does, yes.
That's the apparatus station, right?
Yes.
Right.
This is the other one we're renting.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
50K is a lot of money.
How big an area is that? Doesn't look like it's that big.
Supposedly, it's in front and to the side and redoing
Oh.
the aprons.
So,
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Up next is the ambulance 2 replacement. As the chief outlined in his report, he was hoping to have the fire engine 2 and the ambulance 2 switched, but when he applied for ARPA funding, the ARPA committee and the select board funded ambulance 2 over fire engine 2. So now he switched them in the capital plan. So there's $250,000 on the other page from ARPA money. So the remainder to get to an ambulance would be $100,000.
$350 for an ambulance.
Mm.
Wow.
We're gonna need to talk to him about that one. So what we've done in the past
Mm-hmm.
is we do exactly what we're doing now, and then, I don't know, then to other town meetings, but you tag something for further discussion, and then we ask whoever is asking for the money and we want more information, we either go meet with send a member to go meet with them, or if
Come
it's a
here.
big item, we ask them to come in.
Mhm.
All right.
So in this case, we'd want Chief Hayes to wander on in.
So we're gonna tag this and respectfully request that the chief come
Well,
on in.
I'm suggesting that we do that.
No,
yeah.
I was gonna go, after we go through that, I was gonna say the same thing, and even said the question for Travis about the,
I was gonna say, you wanna see Travis too?
I think we just wanna ask him the question as opposed to dragging them here at
Okay.
night.
Okay.
So we'll just
I don't
ask
mind
Travis.
dragging the fire chief out.
Alright, so we have two flagged items as of this moment. The architect and engineering assistance is, from what I've read, a person to come in and help the library finish certain projects. I let it be known that I could not reach the library director. I tried my hardest. I called them the whole week.
Did they submit
Yeah.
something specifically
Yes.
to you, Sandy?
They did,
They-
there was a
it's-
form.
They wanted to know which they should take priority over windows, the furnace, and foundation repair. I'm just wondering
Yeah.
why they would need an architect for that.
I'm not sure, but previously on the capital plan, they had the window replacement and they had
The
The
foundation,
foundation too. Yeah.
correct.
yeah, didn't they do it?
They didn't do the foundation.
They
Because-
haven't done
Came back.
anything.
But somebody told them that the foundation was, they had an engineer and he told them the foundation, my recollection is that the foundation was fine. I don't,
I
That's
was
my
on the question
recollection.
2 years ago.
brought my book from 2 years ago.
Oh, good. Maybe you have it
Good.
on the records there, but, if you recall, and I'm not sure if it was the whole foundation, but my understanding was is that they were supposed to dig in, do an investigation.
Right.
We gave them money for that. And it was allocated at that point in time for an assessment and a study.
Yeah.
And then potentially some work, right?
Right, and my recollection was that the engineer said that the foundation was sound, but that's my recollection.
So that being the case, I'm kinda surprised that we're seeing that again.
Well, and.
Well, they're asking for somebody to give them repair prioritization.
Mm-hmm,
But, I mean, why is the foundation in here again?
That I don't know.
yeah.
So I
There-
guess,
My understanding is that from, with the with the finance committee is that was never done and that money got kicked back. That was allotted towards the foundation repair, but.
But
we
it
just
was
have to
kicked back
verify that.
because nothing was found that had to be done.
Or they never got to it. That part I don't know.
Yeah.
so here is our FY 20,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got $64,453 for partial window restoration in FY 22. The rest postponed till FY 24. Replace basement flooring for 20 grand, replace roof and skylight for 15. What else do I have?
We're gonna need to bring in the library director.
Yes.
Mm,
Or, we just need more information.
Yeah. Cause I remember Tom
or maybe
Robinson.
actually Connie Strimmer, is that how you say her name? She is the one who, she's
Yeah,
the chair
chair
of
of
the
the
trustees. I
trustees.
think maybe she's the one that
Or
you would
both.
need to talk to. Right,
Let them decide.
yes.
We don't need to dictate who.
Nope, they need to show us why they need it. So whoever they think is best.
Okay,
Because I tried to reach them due to the fact that my main confusion was why the architect assessment for the library is $42,000, but now they're looking for architect engineer assistance for significantly less. And is that the same deal?
Yeah, I don't, I said, I've read the more details and they're talking about prioritization over the windows,
right.
the furnace, foundation repair.
And we did the roof.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
we
roof has
did.
been done, yeah. So,
And I
I don't
remember-
know why you need an architect
Yeah.
for that.
I don't
And I
know.
remember that the furnace was, I thought had been addressed.
No,
Or- No?
no, the furnace keeps getting Band-Aids.
I thought we had given,
We got
Had
a
some
new
priorities.
furnace for this building.
And
la-
and the school, we did that too.
Yes,
Yeah,
okay.
yes,
Maybe
I know, they blend together.
they do. One big blur, yes.
And we can check with Green Communities about what they would be able to do in terms of furnace, because I know the furnace over there was a Green Communities project, I
Mm.
believe. Yes, because if you look on the second page, the library's boiler replacement was set for this year with Green Communities money, so I will look into that.
That's how I remembered it too. It was going to
Okay.
be going with green. Now that you're mentioning that, yes.
Alright, so we'll mark that and we'll either get them in for an upcoming meeting or we'll talk to them. And Linda Gordon, skate park renovations, this has been on the plan for some time because it is one of those things that is easy to move down the road.
That should be an ARPA, or should have been an ARPA, or.
Like
Did they give, I'm sorry, I didn't bring my paperwork, did they give us paperwork on the walking path and the skate park?
So I finally, Sanda had a
Sanda,
horrible
yeah.
time, for some reason, I do have this is for the skate park. She just wrote on here, skate park has some surfaces that need to be repaired and a few pieces of equipment that need to be repaired or replaced. Skate park is approximately 25 years old, is deteriorating in some areas, some of the equipment is in need of repair as well.
Because
Do you-
it's eligible for CPC funds,
Correct.
and it's eligible for grants.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I can guarantee you on both of these items, I can't guarantee you, from my own part, they need to prove to us that they have pursued
Yeah.
CPC and grants before they can
Right.
come to us.
In skating, there is a large variety of grants. Like if you remember, Tony Hawk, the professional skateboarder,
Yeah.
gave a decent sized grant to the city of Leominster.
Yeah.
So,
And or, I mean, those are all steel structures. We have 2 welding firms in town.
Mm-hmm.
They could give us they could get a quote just to Band-Aid them.
That's true.
Because their only choice, I'm gonna guess, is to Band-Aid them or close the park because it's not safe.
Yeah. It's also something that I guess you could do as a fundraiser,
Sure.
you know,
It is a well-used park.
it
Yeah.
is.
People come from out of town to use that skate
Yes.
park, cause I've spoken to some.
Yep,
But I don't see us releasing funds when we have critical infrastructure needs,
Not in the near future.
unless the school department takes it over.
yeah.
Oh, I just had a big row in another town on that.
good luck.
As far as the walking track, they're requesting $100,000. The surface needs to be replaced. It's become dangerous with roots and rocks having pushed through and has damaged areas throughout the whole track. There again, it's 25 years old, and so they are looking for $100,000 for that.
Nope.
So they wanna replace the whole track,
Oh, yeah.
it's not, yeah.
That's a new track.
Yes, and I think they're looking, you know, this is something we talked about, when I was involved with the ARPA committee. If they wanna make it ADA compliant, there's all kinds of ADA grants out there. You know, there again, this would also probably qualify as a CPC thing. But I would also think, you know, there's all kinds of grant money that I think this would be eligible for, is
Right.
what I'm trying to say.
No, putting out a playground, the bid is in a week and a half, and we just got $75,000 because the point of the changes to the playground is to make it ADA accessible. So, once
Yeah.
again, they need to show us grant applications, they need to show us a CPC, they need to search alternative fundings.
Yeah.
So I would like to make a motion that we direct, who do we direct? That we direct the recreation committee to search alternative funding sources and grants, and that we do not include them in this year's capital plan.
Do we have suggestions on what we do with it? Do we kick the can down the road one more year like we've done in the past, or
Well,
I think so. Just so
Why
it's,
don't we simply tell them to reapply once they have that information. I mean, I don't think that it makes a lot of sense for us to put this here down an extra year, just come up with the new plan, and then we can make a decision where it fits.
That's a better idea. I would draw my motion. So that they need to provide us with other, pursuit of other funding sources, either in part or in whole.
Yeah, I don't think we're doing them any favors to just kick it down the road.
Yeah.
Exactly, I think we need to
You
get
do.
some real solid information from them, and once we have that, then we can make a decision as to where it fits in the budget,
Agreed.
for the next 5 years.
I can also tell you that with ARPA, they had requested money, for the walking track. But I believe they were looking for $16,100, and that was to repair part
That's a
of it.
repair, yeah.
I'm gonna find, I have the applications in here.
Okay.
That is something we might consider as opposed to
Well, that's what I
reconstruction.
was wondering, if they ever had, if they had it assessed as to whether or not it could be repaired.
Anything can be repaired.
Whether it's
Almost
worth-
anything.
Whether it's worthwhile.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I know, Parks Commission, Town Function, they were looking for $50,000 for the walking track.
From ARPA,
Yeah, but I believe the select board still has not finalized all of the ARPA money. So what was still left? Yeah, they were requesting 50,000, so there's like approximately $55,000 still left in ARPA money that needs to be decided on where it's going. So at this time, I can't even say, you know, whether or not the select board would decide that as well, but obviously 50,000 is only gonna cover some of it. You know, would they go for a grant for the rest of it? I don't know.
And there are more opportunities for that kind of project than a lot of other things. Like there's quite literally a brand new state executive department regarding recreation and that kind of initiative. So I would like to, as well as everyone else is stating, know that they have exhausted all of their energy in trying to get money elsewhere before we just dump money into it.
I would also ask if you have pointers for them,
Yes.
that you provide that to them. You know, obviously, it helps them in that whole process.
So if we take the 120 off of the capital plan, that leaves us with 440, 645, and we're $70,000 shy, and that assumes we don't wanna carry any money over.
Well, that was another question I had, because in years past with Ryan, we always took a certain percentage of that and carried it over, right?
Right,
Have you,
for anticipated large expenditures on next fiscal year.
have you made any decision on that, or is there any recommendation on your end?
That's what we did yesterday, correct? Yeah, so I have that right here. The amount we're working at right now was the certified FY '23 free cash was $806,289. Free cash used at special town meeting on October 26 was $97,915.40. Free cash avail. What was that?
for the school.
For the school. Free cash available for annual town meeting is $708,374. Sandy and I, after sitting there the other day, we're going to recommend that a $130 $100,000 buffer be put in to potentially consider the offset to offset the schools.
What's that from a percentage perspective? 'Cause I always remember we were looking at a percentage, right?
Yeah.
And we've also set aside,
Yeah.
Let me see.
money for stabilization in the cap stabilization plan that usually, there's 50,000, correct?
And seeing as our financial policies state that we are aiming to have 5% of our annual operating fund in normal stabilization, which we do have, we do not hit our numbers on
Which is
capital
six.
stabilization.
According to this, it was 6%.
6%?
Okay.
Capital investment strategy recommends 6% of net operating budget reinvestment in capital projects. And then, what was this? This was, FY 20, I guess I got the wrong number. Just trying to see, Ryan was recommending that we carry, I think it was like 15% forward, year to year, or taking a longer look at if we don't spend the 370, we can carry monies forward to knock down
Mm-hmm.
Next year,
next year.
yeah.
But that assumes,
We'll have money
And
left.
after all of that, it does leave 158,374 for available for other uses, while using 370. I'll print.
we don't have any debt service in here?
Not in there, no, for this year we wouldn't have to borrow any money. We have prior year
Yeah.
debt that we will still be paying. Next year on the capital plan for next year is a fire truck for the fire station, fire department. That will
Which
most
we would
likely
have to borrow
require a
Yeah.
borrow,
Yeah, it's like 800,000 now.
yeah.
I spoke with the chief this morning and told him that 800,000 was a pretty heavy lift, and to maybe look into a used pumper truck, cause I had just last fiscal year purchased a used pumper truck in Princeton for $500,000. They had to get a little innovative with it, and the chief had to drive to New York, but they ended up with a pumper truck.
I know in the past he said the problem with some of the used ones is whether or not they'll fit in the facilities.
Right.
Yes,
Yes,
ours
that
have
is.
to be special made.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless we get a new fire station.
That was going to say, what are we gonna do for that?
Which is the big, the $60,000 question, right?
No, I don't know that we're gonna be able to find a unified amount. I think it was a flexible amount based on what we could,
I think it's on, let me grab my computer, I think in the financial policies,
yeah.
So how did you come up with that amount to withhold? What was your,
Here you go. You wanna pass on that as well?
Thank you.
Here's our numbers that we were looking at yesterday.
oh yeah, those, I don't know that, I think we were thinking, when we first looked at the capital requests, that were out there,
Okay.
so D, the school offset is anticipation?
well, just from the select board meeting the
Yeah.
other night, and,
If-
you know, yes.
Yep.
That's not the fuel thing I heard about, the emergency fuel fund, that's just offset for school expense? Okay.
What emergency fuel fund?
I had mentioned the potential need of emergency funds.
Oh, yeah, well, it's a whole nother
Well, gentlemen, we get 100,000 for, road repair in here. We need 70,000 out. The Main Street repaving is,
And that's the fire station.
yeah, that's an ambiguous number, could come in lower. Or they could reduce the scope to bring it in lower. I mean, we gotta have the apron out in front of the apparatus fixed.
Yep.
And to the side makes sense, but 50 grand, that covers paving all the way around the building, I'm gonna guess.
That's what they, well, I understand from the proposal, he wants the front and the side, which the side is now gravel.
Okay,
Now, what effect is the work that's going to be done on Main Street going to have on the size? Because some of the land, some of that frontage is being
Yeah,
taken
they'll saw
away.
cut it and repave it.
so according to the financial policies that are on the town's website, it says, the town shall set a year-to-year goal of maintaining its free cash in the range of 3 to 5% of the annual budget. And then it says the town will aspire to maintain a minimum balance of 5% of the current operating budget in its general stabilization fund,
Which we've hit.
which we have hit. Capital stabilization. Okay, I'm not a fan of this one. The town will appropriate to this fund over time so that it achieves a target balance to cover the town's cash outlay for capital and maintain a 1% balance for future capital purchases.
Yep.
That
Maintain
seems,
1% of operating budget.
yeah,
Which
that
we-
seems
whi-
low,
which we
which
have.
we're at, but that seems low. So the other thing is, according to this, if you wanted, you could only, not put anything in either for this year, if you chose to do that. That could be selling ourselves short in the future by not doing that, but we have hit the benchmarks that is in the policy. So that's something for you to think about.
Well, we don't need to make any decisions
No.
tonight, we just need
No.
to ask for
Just
information
things
tonight.
to, right,
And we can just, cause I am going to draft up all of the documents in a similar fashion to my predecessor. I will kind of give my own flair and try to not exactly copy and paste, but I do have all of this.
Mhm.
I'm gonna review it. I've been here less than 2 weeks, so, giving it my
Tomorrow,
shot.
I'm just showing that those are
Yeah.
our timelines.
Yeah.
So we have plenty of time, I'll share it with you guys too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we're only a month and a half behind.
Yeah.
Well, we're in December. We're supposed to have a solicit department requests and capital plan updates in November.
Yep, which we did.
December, financial forecast presented to select board by town administrator.
I pushed that out to February, cause what I told them, and it was half joke, half true, that if they wanted a 5-year forecast from me on December 19th, it would be more like a 5-week forecast.
Yeah. So, we've received input, do we wanna ask anybody else to come in front of us?
Does anyone have any questions on the multi-year stuff before?
That's a good question. Well, brush mower,
Yeah,
that's,
188,000 is brush mower.
that's the reach over arm, yeah.
That's the one they put on the road to bring up all of the.
And they keep dying on us. What do we get, 6 years
Do
out
they
of them?
have outside services that do something like that?
That's an excellent question.
Well, it does keep people busy over the course of the, staff busy over the course of the summer,
That's true.
cause they're not doing massive road
Doing
repairs.
it today.
Yeah.
I passed them on my way to work this
Yeah, they're
morning.
doing leaf blowing too.
Leaf blowing. First time I saw a leaf blower. I have a leaf blower going up Gillville Road today.
Yeah, they were doing Old Westminster.
Really?
Yes. I was just totally amazed.
I mean, that's wise road maintenance, get
Not
the
not
sticky
disputing,
leaves
it's the
off
first
it.
time I've seen it,
Yeah, yeah.
which is great. I didn't know we had that.
No, I didn't either.
Actually, I think that was an ARPA request that
Oh.
got granted.
It's mounted on the one they use for doing the sidewalks, I think.
Oh, yeah, it might be that one.
Oh, you know, that's gonna mean more maintenance for that unit now. Yeah, that'll be in front of us sooner than we think.
Well, the only thing with the brush mower, I know I did, cause that was included in the documentation,
Mhm.
so, I mean, Travis has
Yep.
a pretty good history of looking for, previously used.
And planning,
Equipment.
yes, he does, and he also plans ahead, which I think is great, rather than get surprised.
Whoops, it broke and we don't know what to do.
Well, not only that, but, you know, you present the capital plan for, you know, he's requesting that for next year, at least it's something
Right,
that you guys can keep in the back of your minds versus getting hit with it next year.
do we want, additional detail on road repair? What
To
in
drive it,
particular?
drive 'em.
Are there multiple projects, is it a single project, is it general road repair?
So it's going to be general road repair, something, somewhat of a priority that Travis and I spoke about in our initial introductory meeting together was seeking grant opportunities to kind of do a road status plan. And
Oh.
like that, because we don't know the ratings of the roads, 89 miles of road, 7 of which is dirt. So we would need to have a plan, or it would just be a guess from
We
Travis.
did one 20 years ago.
Yeah, and
I
I
think it-
thought he did one, there was one recently
There
too,
is,
as
yeah.
priority, which roads, cause, you
Yeah.
know, you hear
He
about.
had told me to look for it, but if there is one, I would like
There
to see
is
it.
a, road plan,
Yeah.
it's actually on our website.
It is, yeah.
I think what would be
Yes.
great also is to get an understanding from Travis. Some years ago, they were doing also, roads that had been repaired previously, to go over them after, I think it was like 5 years. They did that on Hillville Road, just to extend the life even further
Yeah.
by, for example,
It was the oil and sand, yeah.
Yes.
oil the sand, and obviously they also put the tar in, you know, the
Crack sealing,
on the
yeah.
cracks, the crack sealing.
Yep,
And that seems to be something that is really worth it, because it
Yes.
extends the roads by a significant amount of time.
and Travis is very, proactive in preserving, in using funds to preserve the roads, because he knows how quickly otherwise they go down. I know he just did New Westminster this summer, they did
I think
oil
that the oiling,
thing or
yes, I
something.
saw that.
Yeah, the other thing is, you know, Lombard, getting that done through ARPA money was fantastic.
Yeah.
We also received
A lot of criticism, but it was fantastic. Yeah, I agree.
that road was bad.
It was terrible, yes.
We have also received word that, the state is going to pay for us to have Route 62 repaved next summer from town line to town line. They only do, I forgot what the, it's not a grant, whatever it is, but, they only do numbered routes.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's part of
And-
the TIP, the traffic improvement plan.
Yes, and so that will be redone next year as well, so that in itself is a huge thing
And-
off of the
Oh, that's a biggie.
towns.
And Travis got that by just kind of pestering them.
Yeah, that's how the TIP works, you
Yeah.
gotta keep somebody going to the,
Well, he actually heard about it from, I believe it was the town of Barry, they got, I think it was 32 maybe repaved or something, and he said to the Barry DPW director, where'd
How'd
you
you
get the
do
money for this, how'd you do this? And they said, oh, we got it from, and he said, really? And he said, oh yeah, all you have to do is like apply and ask them, and, so yeah,
That's a good one.
that was
That's
great.
not incredibly public yet.
Yes,
That'd
it
be
is.
great.
Travis told me yesterday that it was not.
Oh. Well, I had announced it at a select board meeting.
Now it is.
No, that was a while ago, so,
Ah,
Yeah, you told me that yesterday, said it was not
oh, well,
super public yet.
no, probably not, but,
Right, then so the IT replacement for the town.
oh,
the
yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't ask
year.
about that.
So
Yeah.
that's every year,
Ryan had set up a technical IT replacement plan that went out several years and he keeps like 20,000 on it a year type of
is
thing.
it being, hasn't been used?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, on the plan for this year, and I can pull that up, cause I found it in here, I know it involves replacing one of our servers that
The
is,
senior center server.
yes, it's horrible. And actually, we're running off it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is part of our problems. And,
Sure.
you
Is
know,
it a physical server we have here?
yes,
Really?
yes.
Why do we even use that? And
Oh,
not-
I think, cause, I'm not sure municipalities are allowed to use a cloud server. I don't think they are,
Really?
yeah.
That surprises me because.
Let me look into that.
I mean, I think we need to start looking into that because the AWS infrastructures that are out there and other, I mean, there's significant amount of savings. It's like private businesses are going that route because it's just easy.
Well, it's,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
it's
and
cake.
hardware breaks.
And it's really inexpensive.
All I use at work.
Well, precisely, and I think, I mean, let's take a look at that. Because right now I'm seeing roughly about $121,000 in this here over the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a
we're
big-
still gonna need to spend a
Update
substantial on
computers,
network and, yeah,
yes.
network.
True,
support
but
and
the
that.
point though is that that's purchasing
A
and
server,
replacing
and then
versus
no sooner do you- right.
maintenance, right?
No sooner you buy it than you have to maintain it,
Exactly.
Usually.
and update it,
If it's
and,
the senior center, would they be eligible for any type of funding?
Well,
for-
no, it's in the senior center.
in there.
We're all using it,
Okay.
yeah.
Has
but
there
they
ever-
might be, does it support the senior center and their little scanning operation and all that? So they might be eligible for a
Maybe.
standalone,
Yeah,
But it doesn't fix the problem of the rest, right?
Well, then
but
why-
it takes a
if-
burden off.
Yeah,
We're taking a piece out of the puzzle.
well, and then why wouldn't they be able to use the cloud?
Have we ever had in Hubbardston a IT like strategic planning committee?
Yeah,
Or-
we did.
yeah.
There was one, I think, about 3, 4, maybe even 5 years ago, and
Yeah, I think Kevin was on it, Kevin Mata.
don't remember.
And all of the members fell off, and it just became.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
it was hard, sort of like capital planning, it was hard to get people
Yep.
and then hard to fund it
Yeah.
because it wasn't, and then Ryan
I-
shows up and he was very much into let's get this back
Yeah.
so that we're at least in the 20th century.
I mean,
Well,
it is
yeah.
essential to run the business
Mhm.
of the town.
Absolutely.
However, the question now is can we look at a solution that is not necessarily, we own the hardware, we own
Mhm.
the software, we own everything, we manage and maintain it, can we potentially, virtualize it?
And lease cloud space
Ba-
elsewhere.
Basically, it's virtualization.
Yeah.
That's what everybody's saying. So yes, you would end up having a laptop,
Yeah.
but using the VPN systems and using a good network.
And you are, I'd go as far as to say you are allowed to, as a municipality, have cloud storage, because that's where we're storing our Laserfish plans. So that's a.
So let's explore that
Yes,
and see.
absolutely.
I mean, the capacity is there. It is fairly inexpensive from what I understand.
the other thing is, I know in the past, we have received grant money
Mm-hmm.
for, replacing computers and such,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep, the best practices IT grant was just recently announced. We were not part of it, but I know one of the projects that Princeton did get during my time there was a virtualization of the police department server.
Mhm.
So it is out there
Really?
and, yeah.
Police,
Yeah.
of all the ones, I would
Yeah.
think, that would be the one that you would think is not allowed to be.
Yeah.
Well,
So
now with encryption.
we could potentially look into next year's grant round if the new administration keeps that type of program.
I would think that that would be a very wise thing for us to go ahead and,
Mm-hmm.
proceed with.
But nonetheless, we're gonna need to fund that this year, for this coming fiscal.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with that, but going forward,
Yes.
there's significant
Yeah,
view that we can potentially get some
25.
significant savings out of this here starting in 25. That should be front and center.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a huge savings, but it is nonetheless $20,000 that can be whittled down to something more manageable
Mhm.
and
Well,
and
as you
bring
said,
monies
it,
up.
it adds up over the years too.
Absolutely,
Sure
and
does.
it's over the years, over the length and the period that we have here, 5 years. All right. Do we have something that is, I mean, like, can we already kind of like anchor things that are definitely gonna be in here? So let's do that and just say, we don't have, I mean, for me, like, for example, the DPW garage roof, that's just,
It's been put off too long.
what do you mean?
It's been put off too long, we do have to fund it.
He's agreeing with you.
I am agreeing, yeah.
Oh, okay. So that one's in there?
Yep.
Did we say that the truck, the Ford 450?
We have questions
That-
regarding
yeah.
the crew cab,
just-
That's details, but
Yeah.
it's pretty much, it's not gonna impact the numbers that significantly.
No,
It's,
But if Travis is coming, well, we were just asking Travis for
just about the crew cab.
the crew cab, not about the roof.
correct,
And so the roof is 150, not 100.
but with the understanding that we may be able to utilize that
There
state
is
funding.
50
There is 50.
to be used, so you would be taking 100,000 out
Right,
of.
right.
Okay, so we use 100, we got, let's call the Ford 450, as a 60,
A tweak.
let's take the full number there. If it comes down by a bit, I would say that we may be able to utilize that for something else that comes in the future. So we got those two items.
So this, but to go back to the garage roof,
Sure.
just, Travis is saying 200,000 or 150?
150.
Yeah.
150
And he
for
needs
doing-
100 from us now.
Right,
Cause he has
we've
the
got
50 from Angobi.
Okay. The additional road repair, it's gonna make it or not?
Main Street?
The fourth item from the top,
Oh.
roadways, additional road repair.
No, that's on the table.
I'm sorry,
I think that's on the,
on yes or no?
that's floating. I'd say that's not something we're gonna fund right away.
Okay, so again, so we have now 165, let's call
Mhm.
some round numbers. Main Street repaving, we're saying
I think he needs
We
to
need
get a
more
stronger
details.
quote, but yeah.
Yeah.
strong quote, but it sounds like that's gonna be in there, so that now we're at 210. Ambulance, 2 replacement,
They've already got 3/4 of the funding,
Right.
and it's a demonstrated need, so
And only we were, I thought we were gonna
so the
ask
100,000
for
makes
the
sense for us to
details.
include that, is what you're saying?
The 100,000 would be, is what they're saying it's gonna cost, 450? Or 350?
350
Yeah,
total.
350, so we're coming in with 100.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're at 310.
And we need, and besides the two things we've cut and the questions for the
IT.
library, there's IT.
So I think we have 310 that is in there, the IT is, we need to have that, so that's 331. So that leaves us maybe with just roughly 40,000,
yeah, more or less.
okay. So what remains here is the Curtis Field walking track, the skate park, the architect engineering assistance, and then the Main
Road
Street
repair, yeah.
and Main Street repaving, right?
No,
I thought you included that.
Yeah, I
Did
thought
I?
you did.
But
Yes, I
the
did, I'm sorry, yes,
additional
I did,
road
I did
repair.
do that, yes, then, and then the additional road repair, but
Right.
but that's not gonna give us, I mean, $40,000 is not gonna, whatever we have left there. It's not gonna do a dent in that.
Yeah, we'll do it then.
Yeah, we're talking to repair, not replace.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's-
yes,
that's
you're
a
right,
culvert,
you're right,
that's a-
sorry,
yeah.
yeah, you're right,
Yeah.
Just be able to do some,
But we definitely need to hear from the library.
okay. So why don't we just mark those up and say these are pretty solid at this point in time,
Mhm.
and we just need to finalize the numbers on those, and then for the other ones, come back with the detailed information that we're asking you for. The skate park, the Curtis Field walking track, the, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I was
I-
under the
yeah, I
impression that the
thought we
skate
said-
park and the walking track were off the table for this year.
What we're saying is they need to come back with us, to us
Next
with,
year.
you've explored these alternatives,
Mhm.
and you're gonna provide them with, hey, these are funding
Yes.
potential grant sources.
Mhm.
If they come back and say, no, they're not, then we can put them back in here and shuffle them into a
But
different,
If they come
different
back
year.
and tell us that, I know that not to be the truth. I work in that realm.
Well, yeah, what
You know?
I'm saying though is we're leaving it open, and if
We're
they
not
come-
shutting the door on
We're
them,
not
right.
shutting the door
We'll
on.
leave the
on
door
them.
We're encouraging them to look elsewhere.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, we seemed like the easiest spot to go and ask for money.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, CPC's pretty easy.
Yeah,
That's what we were talking about earlier as a potential opportunity for one or both or
Mm.
of those.
is there anything that we had pushed to future years that we need to maybe reconsider? If we have a smaller budget and we're not gonna put something, I'm just thinking, if the $40,000, we're gonna say, hey, maybe not into road repair this year, and I'm just throwing this out. Is the trencher important? Is the still trimmer important? Is the John Deere mower, important to Travis?
Well, the steel trimmer shouldn't even be on here, cause it's, too small a number
Yeah,
for capital plan.
Which,
yeah, that's a
$500.
26,
$500 for the
But
still
that's
trimmer.
Travis being very
Well,
detail oriented.
I'm not sure if we got a trimmer with ARPA money in the first round. 'Cause I was not a part of that, but let me see if I can find it.
So if we did, we can take this off the list right off the bat.
but it's not on this,
It is right here.
oh, in the future, oh, sorry.
It's not for this year. The point though is if they did already get the steel trimmer, I don't think that
It
we
could
need.
come off entirely,
Well,
Well,
maybe.
they wear out fast.
And that's true.
Yeah,
cause I'm,
It's not a homeowner version.
And
No.
they may have
I mean, it's
had
not
it
a Home
on
Depot.
here and then decided, 500 was,
Yeah, it just doesn't meet the
right,
requirements for us to even look at it, that's all. It's too
Okay.
small a number. That should come out of his operating, it's not a
Operating
capital
budget.
expense.
Okay,
Technically, it's $10,000
I borrow your pen for a
with a
second,
durable
please?
life of more than 3 years, but.
I borrow your pen for a second, please?
Yep.
Thank you. So.
And there's no police cruiser on here.
The police cruiser
Next
plan
year.
has it every other year. The interim chief does wanna talk about that because he noted to me this week that he thinks a more of a maybe 2 on, 1 off, or a different variation of the plan would be better, but I told him to write it up and propose it.
I thought we got one last year. and
Yeah, we got
maybe-
the Chevy,
Yeah,
72 grand, as
yeah,
opposed
we
to a
just
Ford
got
for
it this-
56,
Yeah, we just got it this year, yeah.
And we went with the Chevy because Westminster's all gone from a Ford totally to the Chevy because they're finding them to be more
hold up
reliable
better.
and lasting longer.
Mm-hmm.
Silverado's pretty reliable.
Yeah.
Like,
Is that your big truck that we parked down there last night?
As long as they don't rot.
Thank you, Bill.
They all rust.
So, once we get the more definitive numbers, looks like we got another $40,000 that we can maybe look into as where to allocate that. I think. When are we meeting next?
Is the, well, that's the next question, but 150 seem reasonable for the DPW roof? You think they could get it done for that?
I do. it's a replacement. Although he's got leaks, and
Well,
if
that's-
you find leaks, then you find rot. That's a combination of steel and timber, I think.
Yeah,
That's why I'm thinking it's $100,000 repair, so 150 probably is, yeah,
with all of the accoutrements,
right.
okay.
And he wants gutters.
okay.
So Monday the 9th at 5, since you'll be back by
I'll
then.
be back by then, yes.
Yeah,
January 9th?
yeah, and I'll collect all this and get it tighter, cause by then I will have been here for 1 whole month. Like, so,
You'll be an expert.
yeah.
A month plus.
A little bit plus, yeah.
Wow. Well, I say then,
And we could even pencil that in, and if it goes, if something, because there's only 3 of you, so unless we get another member, if something goes scheduling wise for one of you, it's done. So let's
So
pencil in
5 o'clock?
on Monday, January 9th.
okay,
And we will expect to see Chief Hayes,
Yep.
the library director, and we don't need to see Travis.
Yeah, as long as he has answers.
Yeah.
And do we?
I guess the only thing with Travis, if he can get why he wants the crew cab, but also get a quote for a regular cab comparison.
Right, okay.
yeah,
Well, I'd like-
proper justification for,
Yeah.
I mean, he's not gonna get this money till June, right? So he really can't get a realistic bid on the roof repair. But it would be nice if somebody that knows roof repair could give him an estimate.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'll ask him that.
Including a contingency. Cause, you know, you're gonna peel off asphalt, you're gonna discover stuff. More than a mouse nest in all likelihood, if he's leaking.
And sometimes the leaks happen, they don't notice it.
Yeah, and it travels and now you got a rot route.
right?
Yeah.
That's all, Mr. Chairman. You can call for an adjournment.
So, any other items, or,
No, we don't need to make a motion for the meeting, so we just set the date,
nope,
right?
that's, yeah, we just did, so I'd like to make a motion for us to, call completion of this meeting,
Move to adjourn,
move to adjourn, yes,
second.
Okay.
no discussion, aye,
Unanimous.
adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Wow, we did it in